What a fucking intro, huh? Kurt Angle underwater? Have you ever heard anything like that in your life? Hell no. Only here, man. Happy Friday, RPO Sportstalk. Glad to have you again, man. Bright and early. Holy hell. Fridays are the best, man. I was just thinking about this. Fridays are the absolute best. Getting you up for the weekend shenanigans, right? It's that last day of work. Everybody's dipping out early. Just good vibes at the workplace. Good vibes amongst the streets with all the goons out here. I don't know about you, man. This is the one that gets me giddy. When I get into football season, maybe Sundays, right? So when you wake up on Sundays, setting that fantasy football line, talking ball with all the homies, that's a good time too. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
That's a pretty good point. I didn't even think about that. I guess it's the time of the year, man, because really, when that weather breaks, man, and it's a Saturday morning for me, man, I love college game day.
Oh,
I love college game day, man.
Yeah.
But the fantasy aspect is a little bit different. I think it gives a lot of us sports fans and working adults a lot of hope, man. Something to do on the weekends with your friends, with your boys. Get away from the ladies, whatever. I mean, man, how many hours, days did we spend on our fantasy team last year?
It's all that matters.
For those of y'all that don't know, we're in a league last year where we kind of managed the team together. It was the first time I ever done something like that. It was fun as hell, man. I mean, it wasn't just a wake up Sunday and set your lineup. It was how can we scam these guys in our league, certain players throughout the week. I mean, if you've ever wanted to do something like that, I'd recommend that this kid would send maybe 50 trades a day just at work. I don't even know if you ever got any work done last year.
It's like anything in life, right? Like you just hammer people until they quit. You just hammer them, man. It's such a good time.
But to answer your question, I guess it's really the time of the year, man. But if I had to go for one day consistently throughout the year, anybody that works is going to tell you Friday. It's just something different about Friday. It doesn't really feel like a work day almost.
Yeah.
It feels like early release when you're in school. You know, it's like,
ooh,
I know I'm going to put in maybe 30-40% effort today, if that.
Yeah, early release.
Friday overall, but definitely during football season. Saturday and Sundays, right? I mean, it's kind of a toss-up. I guess it just depends on how well the Bears are doing.
Super biased, right? It's like, yeah, it all depends on those guys. You're right, man. Saturdays. I don't know how I forget. Like, I've been disconnected from college football for a couple of years now. I used to coach college football. And yeah, like Saturdays are pretty pure, right? You're still playing for your school. There's a lot of tradition there. Like
you don't have the Sunday scaries either. You know what I mean? If you're like, man, I'm gonna catch some good games today, and I've got games tomorrow too.
Oh yeah, football fucking junkie, huh? This guy. Yeah, man. Fridays are the best. Crazy weekend for you, man. You're moving. We were just talking about it off stream here. Moving, and it has me wondering: is there anything worse than packing up the crib, tossing it into a fucking box truck, and throwing it all up at a new spot? Like, my goodness. And you've been through a ringer. I don't know. How many moves have you done recently?
Like 10 in the last 7-8 years or something like that.
That's padded room psycho stuff.
This one should be it should be a pretty. It's not permanent, but we should be there a while, so it'll be nice until we can. This housing market calms down. So, but yeah, no, I really don't know if there's anything worse because it's like, hey, let's spend days packing up all of our belongings. Let's move them and then immediately unpack them.
You're right.
It's like it's like setting up and taking down your Christmas decorations more than once a year, right? Like, man, I don't, you have fun putting them up, but do you have fun taking them down? No, it's like, I don't want to.
All that time and effort to put the damn light on the clip, right? Nice and neat, make sure it looks good.
Yeah, moving. Like, it sucks to pack it, but then you're excited to unpack it. It's like, all right, this is something new. So there's a little bit of excitement to it, but definitely looking forward to it. I'm on blur right now because I had to take my banners down in the background. So next week when we do the pod, I'll have everything set back up. So
I don't know what
my own little studio there.
I don't know what was going on back there. I'm like, is this mother effer and mother Phrygian some super speed or something? Like, is he in a time warp? Like, what's going on out there, man?
Yeah.
But
still got the Bears hat up there. I can't see it that much, but
yeah, you talk about going to a new spot, and that's going to be the place for you guys for a while. I don't know. I'm laughing in my head. It's like that spot or that time in Happy Gilmore, like Happy Place, right? Gene Simmons.
Wouldn't mind that, Virginia Bennett. Wouldn't mind that. Bring me a couple pitchers of beer.
Virginia Bennett. It'll only take one pitcher, huh? One pitcher. Okay, man. A lot happened since we've been gone. Since you've been gone. Home Run Derby recap. Home Run Derby. Vladdy Daddy takes it home. And you know what? A lot happened in this event. It was a great event. And I know I gave you guys gambling advice. Oh, Luis Robert.
We were both wrong.
Listen, we felt so good in the first. And then he came out and shit the bed here in the second round. I will say, Randy Rosarena, you are a madman. You took like a hack every 5 seconds. That was just not normal. And you don't have to do that next year against Luis. But Rodriguez, holy hell. It almost looked like he was going to hit 50 for a second.
That was my pick, man. He was in a rhythm, and he lost it in that second round. But I think more importantly, it shows that maybe this format's not working. And hear me out, because you're probably like, whoa. We're hitting more home runs than ever. But I was listening to, I'm mad I can't recall where I listened to it from, but we're removing the excitement of the home run by having this style of format, right? How many of Julio's home runs did you actually watch leave the park?
Oh, right? Maybe the last one. Maybe.
They would show it in the air and then they'd cut back.
Yeah.
Show it in the air and they'd cut back, right? Like, you're starting to lose that excitement. Man, I would love to see the out system come back. I don't care that they posted that thing that showed Vlad's dad only hit 17 home runs total in the home run derby he won versus how many he hit. But like, man, that's exciting, man. Like, you've got to pick your swing, right? It's everything. And they're talking about, how do we make it level, if a level playing field, if we're gonna have the out system, but have a machine pitch to them, right? That removes it.
Yeah.
You're getting the same pitch every time. Everyone's getting the same pitch, right? I think that'd be exciting to see, man. We're starting to get, it was a great format during that steroid era because those guys could just fucking crank the ball out the park. We kind of hit a point in the MLB for a while there, a little stretch where we weren't really doing that as much. But now I feel like these guys that are in it, it'd be a great format to go back to. Why not try it out?
I'll tell you what, man. You bring up a great point because it's like half of the excitement is that distance. And
how many of the 440 plus home runs did you actually get to see?
Yeah, it's like not many, thinking about it. That's half the excitement. I want to see them tear the leather off the ball and just annihilate it. And I want to track it. And I tell you what I really want to see is the ball hit somebody in the stands because I'm sick just like we saw in the outfield there.
Yeah, here, we'll play that clip real quick here. This was another point that they brought up. Get the kids out of the damn outfield. Get the kids out of the outfield.
Oh my God!
Deceased immediately. Deceased. I don't even know what.
Oh
Did he
Jesus!
have gum in his mouth? What? When he gets hit in the face, something comes flying out. What is it? Look at, immediately, there's a little white dot.
A tooth.
Look at, that's just molar gone.
Like a prize fighter. That's a tooth.
Right here, right here. This kid wearing a mouth guard. They prep these kids beforehand.
Oh,
You got to put the mouth guard in, kid. There's a good chance. Right here, look at it. It's like he got KO'd in the UFC or something by John Jones.
Dude, I'm a science nerd. Just think about the speed of that ball in flight. Look at how fast it ricochets off his head. That thing, that thing's 70 miles an hour off the head.
Ready?
Too.
Ready?
Like, look at the speed off the head.
Point of contact, right? If I can get it to stop right there. Hold on. Point of contact is right there. Right
I like
here.
it. Yeah.
Right?
Crunch.
And then I'm gonna do a quick unpause pause. Ready?
Yeah.
Look how far that ball immediately is over.
Damn.
That's a good 5 feet, man.
Dude, that thing came in hot.
We're laughing at this kid. I hope he's okay. There's been no follow up to this, but
we are laughing at the kid. But
what's crazy?
My God.
To your point, right? Watch the ball. Dude, by the time the video's done, it's out of the clip.
That's what I'm saying. That thing got out quick.
It's way out.
Look at that.
The mouth guard or whatever it is almost made it out, man. You know what's crazier is I feel like the focal point became the mouth guard. They caught that shit live and they said, "Oh, damn, that's a KO."
I'd love to track that exit velo off the noggin. How about we statcast that, boys? Let's statcast that, huh? But yeah, man.
We statcast the exit velo. How about the re-entry velo?
Oh man, but you bring up a great point. I like the idea of being able to track the distance still and follow each hit, and I like the pressure of the outs too. Don't get me wrong.
Juice the balls. I don't care. Juice them. Do whatever you got to do, right? Because you don't want to go to the out format and then have guys come up and hit 2 or 3 home runs and be done. Like, you don't want that. That's not exciting, right?
Yeah.
Juice the fucking balls. I don't care. Do it for the home run derby, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Every year for the past probably since I started watching baseball, I have never watched an all-star game.
Ooh, no.
I only watch the home run derby. I don't give a shit about the all-star game, man.
It's so boring. It's so boring.
Like the NBA, dude, I haven't watched an NBA all-star game in forever. You know what I mean? Dunk contest, three-point contest, skills contest. I watched every single one.
Yeah.
That's exciting to me. So you've got to find a way to, and I don't know how bad the ratings were. I don't know if they may have been good. I would assume they were probably pretty good. But for the fans, man, let's bring back that out system. I loved it. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, it was great. Let's track to see how far each home run goes. Like, yeah, I'm with. I don't even know. Like, it's like
bring Chris Berman back. Bring him.
That was the best.
Man. Bring him back.
Berm was the best, man. He was the best. All right, hey, let's shift forward here. Got a couple big topics for the day, as you guys saw in the header. I binged for you guys. This was just for you guys. I told my wife, listen, I'm going to have to let you go do your thing. I'm going to bang out 8 hours of the new Netflix docuseries Quarterback. Binge that thing. Pat on my back. I know. You guys are welcome. And I'll just give you my honest opinion on it. Right? I think it's very much like those other ones that are coming out. For instance, Full Swing Golf, the F1 stuff.
Drive to Survive.
It's very similar. You know, we are going behind the scenes. We're following these guys home. Like, you know, that whole aspect is cool. I think, you know, modern social media, right? A lot of these teams and organizations are already kind of doing that kind of stuff. So we got a good idea as to who these players are. Nowadays, everybody's running a podcast, right? Travis Kelce, all these guys. So they're opening up more. They did have some vulgar scenes and stuff like that. So it's always good to see, for instance, a big topic that was talked about around the docuseries. Patrick Mahomes, man, he talks a lot of shit. Well, yeah, they all kind of talk a lot of shit, right? We just don't have them all mic'd up, right? And if you guys do watch NFL mic'd up, there's a lot of beeping and blurring there. There's a lot of it.
Oh man, I think sports is the only world where your boss can literally cuss you out with no repercussions, right?
Yeah, it's kind of baked into the role, right? It's kind of baked into that role. So I enjoyed it, and obviously, if you're a football fan, it's a must watch, right? Because there's a lot of behind the scenes content that you want to take in and make your own opinions on. But really, it came down to three quarterbacks. We followed Mahomes, Cousins, and Mariota, right? And throughout last season, their ups, their downs. There's emotional parts with Mariota, but we'll give you the gist here. Kirk Cousins, he's a warrior. There's a reason why he's been in the league so long. There's a reason why the Vikings continue to stick to this guy year in and year out. We're like, listen, are they going to move on from Kirk? And there's probably a reason why they're not. I mean, he battled through injury all last year, had a heck of a season still, and put that team in position to play for meaningful football, right? They had a heck of a start. Mahomes, like I said, a big takeaway is he talks a lot of shit, but I'll tell you what, boys, I mean, he backs it up. Another ring. I was excited to kind of see how the whole family dynamic and all that works, because there's so much shit coming out on that family, right? The brother's a whack job. People are like, listen, his wife is a little too involved and reacting on social media. Man, she's pretty normal. I thought she was pretty normal. I think she acts like almost every other wife that would if her husband's out there playing on Sundays. Just rooting for her guys. So nothing too crazy with that. Mahomes is one of the guys. He's one of the boys out there. Pretty down to earth, realistic dude. And then Mariota, they followed him. His long career here, ending up in Atlanta, giving one last shot, and then him becoming bench for Ritter and what have you. There's a little bit of emotion around that whole aspect, but pretty good docuseries, man. I would definitely give it a watch if for our listeners, NFL football guys. This is a must watch. Any thoughts and takeaways? I don't know. Have you seen any of it thus far?
I've seen some of the promos for it, but like you said, his wife, and I know we talked a little bit about this. It's like, everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people that probably do watch us, right? You may have played high school football, college football, whatever, right? You may have had a girlfriend in high school or college. And they're nuts when they go to the game too, man. They're loud, they're cheering for you. You don't ever see that, right? Like, so I definitely will say that's probably very normal. And especially this documentary came out a year after she really blew up on social media for being annoying. So I'm sure there's a conversation to calm her down a little bit this year, because you didn't hear much about her during the season, right?
Yeah, pretty quiet.
But the Kirk Cousins thing, I think that's pretty interesting too, because people don't realize that they do play hurt a lot, right?
Yeah.
Quarterbacks especially. You might have a ankle sprain, right? It might be a low grade, but running back, wide receiver, offensive line, they may not play on something like that. So it does show the toughness that quarterbacks, do have. And I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I know they covered Kirk, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on Justin Jefferson's comments yesterday. His top 5 quarterbacks, and Kirk Cousins wasn't one of them.
I did see some viral takes. He likes Fields and stuff like that, and is he on the move? Listen, Jetta didn't have his choice of quarterback. Like, he got drafted. This was his guy. He's not gonna badmouth him. Like, I think Kirk even understands he's not a top 5 guy. In the documentary, even he opens up and says, "Listen, man, I've always been doubted. high school coming out. He only had so many offers. Ended up going to Michigan State. Coming in the NFL, he was doubted a little bit, right? Even in Washington, like they were willing to move on from him and stuff. So I think he realizes he's not top 5. You don't have to be
You have to
super
be
smart guy.
borderline. You have to be borderline generational talent to be top 5 quarterback in the NFL at any given time.
Yeah. I was gonna use a different word choice, but I'm glad you said that. But yeah, it doesn't take the brightest person to recognize that he's not top 5.
Yeah.
So
was it mainly just quarterback, like just quarterback interactions, or was it with the team as well, the coaching staff? Like, did you get to see him like do a lot of stuff with his trainer? Because I know, like you said, Kirk Cousins was injured a lot. Was there a lot of that?
Yeah, you got to see a lot of other people, personnel around the building come on for like brief interviews here and there. Like, O'Connell, he'd hop on, give his take on a situation during that point in that season. So you got a little more insight. But, a lot of that was scripted, right? Hey, Kevin O'Connell, let's sit down. What are your thoughts on this point? It's like, It's all scripted. It's not behind the scenes like Hard Knocks, and they're just giving you raw emotion reaction.
Yeah.
And footage.
What about like readiness to play on an injury? Did they show a lot of that with Kirk Cousins? Like what he has to go through on a weekly basis just to play the game?
100%. Yes.
That's interesting. I like that because if you've never played sports, you really don't understand that there's more that goes into it than just watching film and practicing, right? Like it takes up a lot of your time, especially if you're nursing an injury throughout the season, man. I mean, it is hours of extra work every day just to even be able to go out there the next day and run a light practice, right? So that's very interesting. I'm definitely going to give it a watch when I get settled here.
Yeah, they show a lot of that stuff, a lot of it. So, man, give it a try. You guys out there, I know you're going to watch it. Let us know your thoughts underneath, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm excited for Hard Knocks. Have they announced who the hell it is this year? I know it was down to like 4 teams.
Read the banner.
What do we got? Oh, are they really doing it?
Yes.
This is going to be wild.
I'm glad
this is going to be wild.
This is funny. So this is actually off script. We weren't supposed to talk about this, but I put this in here to maybe talk about at the end.
Why not?
So this is interesting. And I put, what are the Jets thinking, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, no Hard Knocks team has ever made it to the Super Bowl. Right?
Are you talking about a curse? Wait, hold on. Are you breaking news on a curse? Are you breaking news?
So no Hard Knocks team has ever made it to the Super Bowl. And only one Hard Knocks team has made it to their conference championship game. Do you know what team that was? It's a lot easier of an answer than you think. It's a lot easier of an answer than you think.
I'm torn down. I'm down to 2 teams here. Okay. I'm down to, I don't know what year that was. Shannon Sharp on the Ravens there. I know that was a good Hard Knocks year, like 2000.
That was 01.
Oh, I just missed it then. Was it the Jets?
It was. It was Rex Ryan's Jets. They made it to the championship game against the Steelers, and they were 11-5 that year.
Okay.
That was in 2010. So, for me, I don't know if there's really a curse, right? But there's no Super Bowl winner, right?
Scared up.
There's no Super Bowl winner. Only one team's ever made it to the conference championship game. That defense was great, man. That defense that year was great. For me, I would have loved to have seen the Jets give Aaron Rodgers a fucking break, man. This guy has had breaking news
every year,
controversy every fucking postseason.
Ayahuasca, everything, man.
It is just like, give him a fucking break, man. Where like all he does is just play football, right? I hope he's not involved as much in one-on-one interviews, yada yada yada, as some folks might think. And it's weird. I'm really rooting for Aaron Rodgers because that's super strange being a Bears fan. But I want to see this play out, and I really do like that Jets team. They got a lot of young pieces. I just wish they would have stayed out of that light a little bit. I just found this out too the other day, and I'm getting a little bit off topic, but did you know that if you've made the playoffs the last 2 seasons, you have the choice to opt out of Hard Knocks?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that before. Yeah, like you don't want
to do it.
people
So
infiltrating.
The NFL almost like it's crazy. They like force teams to do it almost.
Yeah, they put them up for bid, and then
I'm sure
they
there's
have further conversations.
I'm sure there's like, hey, who would like to do it first, and they go from there. But yeah, man, it would have been nice to see Aaron Rodgers have one off season where it's like all he does is just worry about football, especially coming to a new team that was pretty good, man. I mean, they were a quarterback away from making the playoffs and maybe making a run last year. Who knows?
Probably.
But yeah, thoughts on Hard Knocks at all?
Man, that's pretty great. I'm watching that. That's a team that all eyes are on this offseason, and moving into the season, it's only going to get crazier. So they got a lot of huge games this season. They're on every primetime spot you could imagine. So yeah, I'm tuning in. But like you said, it's kind of like, man, free A-Rod. Like let the homie be. That's going to help them maximize that potential in that unit there. So. Wow.
Is anybody watching Hard Knocks in season? I haven't seen either of the 2 seasons. There's the Colts and then the Cardinals this year. I've never watched it.
Yeah, people are watching it, right? But it doesn't have the same lust of, finalizing rosters, cuts, the day-to-day of trying to make the squad. There's a lot more investment, emotion in those stories than when you get into season. It's wins and losses, right? It's guys getting hurt. I don't know. I almost feel like a lot of these organizations and teams now do their own little series around following their year. Like, for instance, you see the banners in the background, man. The Bulls do one. I know the Bears do an all access. Like every team pretty much has an all access now following their season, giving you a little bit of behind the scene. So it doesn't have that same flavor, if you know what I'm talking about. So I like the cuts, man. I love that. I love that. They put that camera in the corner of the room, and Joe Schmo comes in and listen, Joe Schmo, it ain't happening today.
Who was it the year the Texans did it, man? That cornerback. What was his name? The cornerback. Like everybody in America fell in love with this guy.
I remember. You're right.
What was his name? It was like James something. Oh, this is gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah.
It was Charles James II.
Charles James.
Everybody fell in love with that dude, man. He would hustle. He would make play after play, and then he ended up getting cut.
Oh yeah.
And that was a painful one to watch. I remember that one specifically because we were at college together watching it. And then some other team came in and signed him. It may have been the Dolphins or something like that. But
what was your favorite Hard Knocks series thus far? What team?
Dude, that Texans one was great. Vince Wilfork coming in with the overalls on.
Oh, dude, that was good.
That was hilarious.
Classic. That's a classic, Vince. That's classic.
That was a really good one. The Rex Ryan Jets one's really good.
Yeah.
He gives that speech, and he's just going on a rant, man.
Yeah.
It's a swear word every other word.
Yeah.
That one's great. The COVID one kind of sucked, right? When they did the Chargers and the Rams.
2 teams.
That one kind of sucked.
We were sick of COVID at that point. We're just like, fuck, leave it alone. Leave it alone.
The Raiders one was interesting because of the Antonio Brown situation, and Gruden's just so he's just so R-rated, man. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's something else.
But I'd have to say, for me, it was probably that Texans one, man. That was a great one. There were a lot of good storylines in it, and Vince Wilfork again coming in those overalls with the cowboy hat on it. I'll never forget that shit. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they had him kicking field goals and shit at the end of practice. That was gold. You just don't see that anywhere else, right? You don't see that anywhere else. And it was cool. Like, they had all different aspects. JJ Watt, right? Him working out after practice and shit, right? Like
That
a
was a pretty
madman.
decent team. That was a decent team.
Yeah. I forget who was.
They made the playoffs.
Was that Matt Schaub quarterback? Or
It might have been.
It had to have been, right? That was before Watson. So Matt Schaub, I remember this. R.I.P. David Mills, or not David Mills. R.I.P. Ryan Mallett, Davis Mills.
Oh,
holy shit! Talk about just twins right there, Davis Mills. R.I.P. Ryan Mallett, but yeah, like I think he was sleeping in, like missing meetings and shit, and they're like, "Listen, you're getting your ass benched now, boy." So there's some good moments on that one. Good moments, good choice, man.
I don't know if you can go back on HBO and watch the old seasons. Maybe you can. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
man, honestly, I'd love to get a hold of tape from like those early 2000s ones, man, like the 01 and 02. Because
they got them on YouTube.
I think there was a break where they didn't do it for a few years.
They got them on YouTube. They got those, the Ravens and the Bengals with like Chad Johnson, the whole child please.
I'd love to watch those. Yeah, that was before my time. That was before my family could afford HBO.
Yeah. Started from the bottom. Now we got HBO, baby. HBO. So yeah, good stuff, man. Good the Jets. I'm in. Okay. It's RPO, man. It's real fucking opinions. You're not gonna get any hotter takes than with situations like this. The Northwestern scandal. This whole debacle, man. This has been wild to follow, especially being that I have somewhat of a small investment with this school. It's obviously in the area for me. I actually worked a year at this university in the strength department. So pretty interesting to see all this stuff coming out of Northwestern. We're just gonna rattle through the gist of this football situation really quick. So Northwestern, they have allegations for hazing. There's some whistleblower, stating that freshmen were being treated, very unfairly, harassed by upperclassmen, in what's called running the homies. So essentially, they get jumped, humped, stuff like that. This whole article breaks it down on ESPN, but kind of shocking, right? Northwestern, that blue collar, hardworking program, do the right thing, take care of business on and off the field, good student athletes, bright young men, especially with being led by arguably one of the best coaches in all of football, Pat Fitzgerald. And in my time at Northwestern, I will say, listen, I've had some pretty interesting encounters with Coach Fitz. He's just one of the guys, quite honestly. Again, he's doing it for all the right reasons. When I was there, he's just one of the guys, though. For instance, I remember sitting down at a computer, busting out, whatever it was, programs and shit like that, and he'd just come up and be like, "Hey, what are you doing over here? Watching porn or something, or just cracking jokes, right?"
Makes sense why he got fired now.
Just cracking jokes, and he
You watching porn over here?
Yeah. So but he's just one of the guys out there, and you didn't hear a lot of buzz of anything else coming out of the school for years, besides trying to put together a solid football team and compete here and there. So it's pretty shocking to see this, especially, he is Jesus in Evanston. Like, he walks around, everybody bows. I mean, he's as big as you would imagine in a town like that. So for me, it was a little shocking to see this stuff. Now, I will also tell you this. I've been in roles all over the country, right? I've worked in Division I strength conditioning. I've worked with college football programs. I've coached college football. Putting myself in his shoes as a college football coach, I got buddies all around the country in these roles right now too. We hear everything that's going on with anybody on that team. Whether it's Joe Schmo out at a party getting carried out drunk, or someone gets arrested, or so and so happens, you hear everything, and you'll hear everything before it hits administration, before it hits public officials, anything like that. Okay, so at the same time, I can only imagine that at one point someone in the building, maybe not Pat, but someone in the building heard about this, right? And as you know, if you're hearing about it and you're not doing anything about it, you're kind of at fault too. So that's just my honest opinion on things. It sucks to see this happen, man. Love this program. Would love to see them truly compete. Being this is our Chicagoland football team, right? Man, tough. What are your thoughts, JB? I know you got from an outsider's perspective here. What are your thoughts looking at this? Completely unbiased.
So right here, it's this for me. Right here. Read that.
I can't read it. It's too far from me.
The school said the investigation, right, which was initiated in January. So this whole investigation started in January, right? This is after the season, right?
Yeah, right after the season. It's been ongoing.
Right after he just had his worst year in coaching history.
Ooh,
right?
Are you taking
is this like the school knew about it and this was a way to get him out, right? I mean,
interesting word choice.
Come on, Pat Fitzgerald, right? Like he's the Evanston hero, whatever. Like you said, dude, his record at Northwestern is 110 and 101, right? Like it's nothing great. He's coaching a mediocre football program at best, right? Like I get it, you're in the Big Ten, but it's also not the most competitive, right? Like you should be able to pull out 6, 7, 8 wins a year. Right?
Based off the side they're in. Yeah, I'm with you.
Based off the side they're in, right?
Yeah.
Going 1-11 last year, inexcusable, man. I think they realize it's been time. Again, it started in January after the season, so it's a little suspicious to me. Almost like, hey, we don't want to just come out and say you suck and we want to move on from you. It's like, let's find another reason. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be making some wild accusation. I just think the timing's really weird. It's after the football season, after college football's done, right? Like you would have heard about something like this throughout the season. It wouldn't have taken all the way to the end of the season to hear about it. So it's a little suspicious that this is coming out now after his worst coaching year he's ever had.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's you're putting 2 and 2 together here, and let us just put the nail in the coffin here. Like we're obviously not saying that this hazing stuff is okay, right? It's not okay, but at the same time, we don't know the full context of the story.
No, but more people knew about it.
More people knew about it, but quite honestly, at the end of the day, the only people that have the full context are the ones in that room that saw said allegation happen. So unless I were to see it with my own eyes on film or what have you, we're taking it for what it's worth from writers that make their own opinions, right? Kind of choose a side, especially with an organization like ESPN. I read an article from Northwestern's student body. They actually really dove into this piece. And, obviously the student body is hearing things too, guys. If you guys have been on a college campus, if a situation happens and there's the game of telephone on how that story changes. We've all heard of that. But, they're getting a little more insight than we're getting, right? Especially, ESPN, they're 2,000 miles away. So the kids on campus, the ones in the locker room, those are the ones with the full context here. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know Fitz, he hired a staff of lawyers. They're trying to go back after the school because, the school had given him a 2-week window here of non-pay leave, and they wanted to further investigate. And then they essentially came back the next day and said, hey, you're out. Stugotz, get out of here.
So something interesting I didn't know. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Would this potentially, if this gets bad enough and people keep coming out, where he gets removed from the College Football Hall of Fame?
I'll tell you what. And again, I'm not saying that the hazing and what have you is okay, guys. But again, this is RPO, baby. I'm gonna give you real ass opinions here. We're in a very woke society, and you could see based off what administration has done. They said, "Hey, we're gonna give you 2 weeks." A little more word got out there about Pat Fitzgerald on 2-week leave and stuff. They fired him the next day, guys. They didn't want to fuck around with this situation. They said, "Get it off the books. Get rid of him. Let's try to bandage this thing up." But they're very much conservative, right? You can't have this happen in modern society. So, would it shock me, JB? No, no. But nothing shocks me anymore, brother. Like nothing shocks me anymore.
Yep.
So, now
it says that 50 people were involved in the investigation, man.
Oh, you could imagine. They're gonna go to one who's friends of another and saw the person that day.
The person you talk to is 2 more people you can go talk to. So I mean that 50, I was surprised that it wasn't higher, honestly.
Yeah, pretty surprising. So now the school in general, they're investigating everything. Word got out about some baseball stuff as well. They let that coach go. So we got a lot going on at this highly acclaimed university.
Well, here's the thing, right? People are probably like, there's an issue going on at Northwestern, right? This is happening everywhere, man. There's hazing built into every sports program, every college, from fraternities to sororities to sports, right? Like it's
peer
out,
pressure.
It's out there, man. Like it just happens, and it's a matter of people going too far, right?
Yeah.
Like there's acceptable hazing, right? and then there's going overboard, like some of the people at Northwestern. But this goes on everywhere. Everybody in the program knows about it, right?
Yeah.
So I would honestly expect to see more come out, not just at Northwestern. Especially we said today in our woke society. So I 1,000% expect to see more.
Yeah, like acceptable hazing, right? We see it on Hard Knocks. Okay, rookies or in college, freshmen, you're going to carry the pads in.
Exactly.
Not freshmen, we're going to hump the shit out of you. Not okay. Not okay, boys. Not okay. So, I'm going to be watching this with a close eye. Like you said, last season was a complete mess. I still have people in the building that I talk to, and they say words of, "Hey, the team wasn't as tight." So things seem to have been falling off, like you said, this past year, and this gives us more reason to believe that right now they're kind of at a low point with this team. So interesting to see how they bounce back, man, or whether or not they have a season. A lot of kids are bouncing.
That's going to be huge. I mean, I expected to see the incoming, or not the incoming, but commit. Yeah. I expected to see a lot of those fall off just because it's like, okay, hey, maybe my decision was because he was there, right? Maybe because Pat was there, but now that he's not, I got to look elsewhere. But yeah, man, it's like open season right now. Like you're looking for someone to fill in a gap on your offensive line. Go hit up the O-line at Northwestern. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
You're gonna see a lot of people leave, and I hope that it doesn't get to the point where they're doing open tryouts, because some of these weirdos in Lake County, Illinois, or Cook County, Illinois, they can't give up the dream of playing football. Man, they need to.
Do you see Fitz getting another job this season, or potentially in the NFL?
Nah, not this season. Just because he's going through this. He's still trying to get his money, right? Like he's still trying to get his money. So I think
get your bag, Fitz.
I think
get your bag.
Going to be his main focus. It's going to be difficult to try to balance coaching and doing that. So maybe he takes a little bit of a break, gets his money, gets out of the media for a little bit, and then I would be done with college. Like I don't think he could come back to college at this point. NFL, I think he's got connections with like the Cowboys or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of teams that wanted to interview him. I think
No, but like,
the Panthers
he was
wanted
already
him.
involved with the Cowboys at some point, wasn't he?
I'm forgetting here.
So in the past, maybe.
But yeah, this will be a crazy one, man. This will be a crazy one to follow. See what happens this season. Saturdays are right around the corner, boys. My goodness, right around the corner. But he already got replaced. DC was promoted to interim head coach. So I mean, I've been a part of those programs, man, where one coach leaves and you got to keep the boat afloat, and it's not easy. And I can't even imagine how hard it's going to be with all these allegations popping up and probably further investigation and blah, blah, blah.
I'm sure the DC will get investigated too.
Sure. So we got 15 minutes left here, man. We got one more topic for you, man. A little bonus content, a little bonus action. So, again, you see these banners back here. You see them. Chicago Bulls, man. The Chicago Bulls were given that $10 million exception for the career-ending injury that Lonzo Ball has suffered.
Still not enough.
Still not enough, right? We're talking $80 million on the books here for Lonzo Ball. But
my question is, and I know you're getting into, why did it take so long? Because we missed out on a lot of potential free agents, and I'm like very upset like it took this long.
Yeah, so they applied, like free agency kicked off. I want to say they applied on like maybe a Wednesday or something that week. And then but the Bulls were supposed to hear as late as like that Friday. And it just came out yesterday. So you're a week past where you wanted to be. And you have missed out on a lot of guys. Now, there's some names still out there that you wouldn't mind dabbling with. Like,
yeah,
there's some solid mid-level players. But like you said, you don't get the pick of the farm there.
The interesting thing, though, that I read in this article was that they can only trade or claim players on the final year of their contracts, or they can sign a free agent to only a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you're kind of handcuffed, right? Kind of handcuffed.
Like it's nice that we get this, but at the same time, it's still like, well, shit. It's not as great as if Lonzo was just off the team,
Yeah, it's so tough. Like you would just say, given that exception, they're kind of expecting his career to be done. Like he had to go in and be seen by a specific staff of doctors, and they formed their own opinions on his knee, and they came to the conclusion that there's no way he's going to play next year, and there's potential that he's done. Yeah, why not grant these guys the full contract? Right? Why not just grant them the contract? So
it's interesting because now we're in this situation where who do we sign? Like I've been hearing a lot about like PJ Washington, but he's still restricted at the end of the day. So I don't. If the Bulls went to him and said, "Hey, here's a $10 million, $10.2 million deal for one season," I think the Hornets would have a hard time matching that, though.
I agree.
That'd be hard, and plus he's got hell of child support to pay, so dude needs money.
Oh my god, that whole situation is fucked.
Boy got scammed. Christian Wood's still out there. Kelly Oubre. Did we extend or re-sign Io yet?
No, so
he's still. I was about to say
he's still restricted.
He's restricted. I know that.
Yeah. So apparently, the Raptors are interested. They might send him an offer, but we have the ability to match. Obviously, he's ours.
Ooh, OG.
There's buzz around Siakam, like giving Io and another plus asset for Siakam. I don't know, man. I don't know. The Bulls do need size. At the end of the day, they're still a small team. You got a ton of guards.
John Wall, Danny Green.
See those names 10 years ago. Right? 10 years ago, they get
Bring
you
back Goran Dragic.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's where we're at?
Blake Griffin, George Hill.
Now it's getting scary.
Wesley Matthews. Dang, Kevin Knox. Kemba's out there.
Ugh.
Serge Ibaka.
Yeah,
Boban.
for the jerseys,
Yeah.
that might be a Jerry move.
It's just, man, it's just like too late. I wish this would have happened sooner. Yet again, it's very difficult to convince somebody to come on board for a 1-year deal, but
Exactly.
I feel like we missed out on an opportunity here or there. But Kelly Oubre, not a bad one. I
Not a
wouldn't be
bad one.
upset.
Yeah.
PJ Washington, not a bad one. Christian Wood, not a bad one. I wouldn't be mad at any of those.
I would give me those three. Any one of those three, I'd be happy.
Coming off
I'd
the
be
bench.
happy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, pretty crazy situation. Doesn't happen all that often. Wanted to bring it up to you guys. Man, we rattled through this one. Just rattled through it. To close out, just wanted to touch on kind of what's coming up here, man. Obviously, RPO Sportstalk, we talk a lot of ball here, a lot of football on this pod, right? So, football season right around the corner. College football on Saturdays, NFL on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays and Fridays and every day now, right? You're going to be seeing more of us. We got something in the works right now. We're not going to tell you exactly what it is, but maybe two times a week on the pod and maybe on some live action. We want to cut it up with you guys. So drop any thoughts you have below on this pod. Give us some feedback. We want to take that. We want to cut it up with you guys and have a blast on these. Any other words of wisdom for these folk?
Wimbledon's kind of hot this year, man.
Wimbledon? Who is that?
That's tennis.
Oh, tennis.
It's been so when I'm working throughout the day, right? Like I have a TV set up like back, and it always has sports on and something's on. But this week it's just been Wimbledon, and I don't know. I'm not saying I'm getting into tennis, but I can see why people like it.
It's crazy how you say that. Tennis is kind of growing. Man, when you drive around past the neighborhoods on those tennis courts, man, I'm starting to see younger kids. Whereas that was never the case. Well, if you had a choice between the hoop on the tennis court or the game itself, they're always hooping.
I think it's the generation, the generation like change with parents, right? Like you were talking about and your program, right? You guys don't have 3 football programs anymore at the high school that we went to. Yeah. We had more kids on our team than we could play. I mean, we're talking about a freshman squad with like 60, 70 kids on it. Like that's insane, right?
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, our high school when we were growing up, it's Grant Community High School in Fox Lake, Illinois. We had a freshman, sophomore, and then a varsity football program. Now all they have is JV, which is consisted of freshman and sophomore, and then varsity.
Yeah.
Which could be consisted of freshmen, sophomore, juniors, or seniors, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so
as long as they're good enough.
Numbers are down around the country, man. I mean, high school, like you said, a weird one here in rural areas. They play what's called 8-man football, right? When they don't have the numbers, and they'll just compile all age brackets right into there. A lot of teams are actually having to drop down into that area too, which is kind of scary. Right, it's really nuts. You're not wrong there. Even youth programs, you see the same effect here. Parents are telling them, "Hey, let's go this avenue. Let's play baseball. It's non-contact." Tennis though, really? I don't know, man. Not me. Not this guy. The boys are out there on the football field. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And unless you're playing duos, man.
Oh, pickleball's taking off too, man.
Pickleball, stop it.
I haven't played it, but I see it everywhere. They have it at my club. They have it at like the parks around me. Man, there's pickleball courts everywhere now.
I know they're out there. They're really out there playing pickleball. But man, if you're choosing pickleball, tennis over football,
I'd never play them, but I could see why people watch it. It's kind of like Formula One now. Like I hate that it's become so big in America the last few years, because now it's all of a sudden it's like a social thing. It's like if you go to a Formula One event, like it's a social status, like, high and mighty. And tennis kind of the same way. It's like, do most of the people that go actually give a shit, or do they go because they can say, "Oh, I was at Wimbledon.
I'm going to Wimbledon."
Exactly.
Shut the fuck up! I don't care.
I was at the paddock at the Miami GP. Like, fuck you, buddy. I don't give a shit. Your real fans are way up, fucking binoculars trying to see any part of the goddamn track. So.
Oh yeah, the real ones are always out there, right? In the nosebleeds. They're always up in the nose. Dog, when you go to down here on the south side, you go to a White Sox game, they call it the left field, man. That's where all the D-Gen real fans are. That's where the Cavs having the brawls, the what have you.
I want to say when you took me to one of their games, that's where we sat. I think we did.
We might have, man. The boys are out. The boys are out there having a good time. I'm gonna keep it a buck. The boys are out there having a good time. I don't want to be out there by myself. In the nosebleeds. I want to be in the action. That's why you go to see these games. You want to be in there. But yeah, man, we got a lot coming up. I'm excited. Football season right around the corner. I can smell it, man. That fresh cut grass, right? That pigskin leather.
Football.
Fantasy football is right around the corner.
We're gonna have to start talking shop about that, and maybe do some mock drafts here in the next couple pods or something like that.
I like that. I
know we prepped a lot last year. Man, we had a good team, and we should have won our league until Jalen Hurts got hurt.
I'll tell you what, we got some takes for you, man. We'll give you some outlook on players and our honest opinions. A lot of that stuff is juiced up based on what they want to tell you, right? Their projections and what have you. We're going to give you the honest shit around fantasy football. I want to make you a league winner. I want to get you paid.
This might be the year where you don't have a running back go in the first round. This might be that year, man.
Well, you're going to have – people are going to hype up Bijan. We already know Bijan, oh, my God. Dude, I saw this about Bijan. Bijan's going to have essentially the biggest contract in the NFL at the RB spot.
Interesting.
Crazy. Like almost $14 million.
I just could see that this might be the first year you don't see a running back go in some leagues, just because we saw how inconsistent wide receivers were. And there were only a few that, like, week in and week out, were just like they could get their numbers, man. And on top of that, put up insane numbers. We stole Justin Jefferson at pick 9 last year?
Just stealing.
It was pick 9 or something like that. I think there are 12 picks, right? Each round, I want to say it was. And we got him at 9. I'm sitting in the car. He's at the actual draft, and he's like, holy shit, Justin Jefferson just fucking fell to this. I'm like, take him right now. Get him.
Receivers might be
the first fucking pick this year.
He probably is going to be the first pick. He'll be up there. Be up there.
Absolutely.
The big one is, if you guys are in a one quarterback league, it's trying to find value in that guy, man. If you can steal that one quarterback spot, oof.
Stole Jalen Hurts in the 4th or 5th round last year. I don't say it's the 5th round. Maybe.
Yeah. You'll be in good hands with.
You gotta go into
30 points a game.
You gotta go into it expecting not to get one of the top 3 or 4 guys, right?
Let them go.
Do your research, man. We did a shit ton of research last offseason on Jalen Hurts, and we were both like, this guy is going to explode this year.
100%.
Sure he did. I mean, sometimes it ain't going to pan out for you. I mean, so people are thinking Justin Fields is going to make that same step that Jalen Hurts did. Do I agree? Situation's a little different, right? I think Hurts getting A.J. Brown was huge. Absolutely huge. We didn't get an A.J. Brown type guy on the Bears, so it's probably a little bit different. But the rushing yards.
But DJ Moore.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how many times you wanted to trade for him last year? And I'm like, thank God we didn't in our fantasy league. Lord, he had a shit year.
I will say the dynamic of 2 owners, it's interesting because you're like, what do we think? And he shuts it down. It's like, okay,
You both have to agree on it.
You both got to agree.
You
So
both got to agree on it. Man, I don't know how many times I went on to our trade proposals and I saw these dumbass trades you would send out, and I would just cancel immediately. I'm like, what are you trying to do here, man?
Sometimes you just got to trade just to trade. Just get them on your side.
Talk about fantasy football ADHD, man.
Man, it's a good time. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's such a blast. But man, hey, thanks for joining us. Those that are on here, we'll be back. We'll see you next week. Joe's on the move. We'll catch him there at the new setup. I'm excited. Football's right around the corner. Let's fucking go, boys. Have a good one. Happy Friday. End. You're at the end of the screen. You're at the end. It's not ending on my